Hey, how are you doing today? This is Greg Van Kirk, and I just want to spend a few minutes walking you through the problem prioritization analysis, collaborative conversation tool, collaborative change-making tool. And this is for conversations focused on prioritizing problems by analyzing frequency and severity. So this is one of the situation analysis tools in the field guide and currently sits in toolkit for problem diagnosis and prioritization. If yours is in a different toolkit, different number, it's totally fine. The description here and how this works and what this is obviously remains the same. So I'm going to go through about this tool. Then we have how to use this tool. The tool itself is right here, which is in Google Sheets, as always, that you can click through and make an editable copy, have your team work on it remotely, virtually, in a hybrid, what have you. And then I'll go through engagement role guidance. Start with about this tool. When we're confronted with a lot of problems at once and are trying to figure out where to prioritize our problem solving efforts, we tend to respond in one of two unhelpful ways, right? Generalization, but this is certainly what I see tends to happen with me. We feel overwhelmed and become paralyzed, so we don't do anything, or we fall back on decision-making biases and focus on the wrong problems. Cognitive biases like confirmation bias, recency bias, and group thinking lead us astray. This problem prioritization analysis tool should help you and your team avoid these tendencies. This tool helps you analyze and prioritize problems based on the following two factors. Frequency. How often do the problems happen? So how often is this a problem? And severity. How bad is the negative impact when the problems happen? In particular, this tool helps you to avoid over prioritizing either what I call shark attacks. These are low frequency, high negative impact. So high negative impact, it's not good to be eaten or attacked by a shark. I think we can agree upon that. But low frequency doesn't happen very often. So maybe we don't want to focus on that. Or nuisances. These are high frequency, but low negative impact. Things that happen very often, but are really not that big of a problem. It doesn't have that big of a negative impact. Maybe there's just sort of some loud music sometimes that happens and gets in the way, but maybe not something we want to focus on. So how to use this tool? You can see the guidance down here, these 6 steps, and a link to this video. I'm going to actually go through and walk through it using my own words, but obviously in keeping with the description as I've written it down here in how to use this tool. So first, what are we analyzing? So we're looking at a bunch of different problems, right? So we want to note down, well, what are we analyzing? Is it a current, what's the current situation? Are we analyzing the, why homelessness, why people experience homelessness, for example? What are all the problems that happen there? Or we're looking at a program, or what are all the problems within that program, or our organization? What are problems within our organization? You can be analyzing anything. What are the problems that exist? So we're analyzing something, then there's a goal, right? So there's an overall goal that the organization or the team or the product or the service, right, is trying to achieve. And so we want to note that down because the problems are things that are getting in the way of achieving that goal. Okay, so what's the overall goal? So just note down the goal. So then problems. If you look at the left-hand column, there's room for 5. You may have 1, you may have 3. Well, I guess if you have 1, you wouldn't worry about prioritization. You may have 10, right? It depends on the time you have, depends on the situation. But what you want to do in no particular order is just note down what are the problems. What are the problems that are happening? What's what are obstacles to achieving the goal? And then starting at the top with the first one that you've noted down, you see the prioritization formula. You want to look at frequency, 1 through 5. So how often does this problem happen? How often is this a problem? If it's hardly at all, it's a 1. Obviously, there's not a 0 there because then it wouldn't be a problem at all. If it's a 5, it means it happens all the time, right? It's very, very frequently a problem. Next, if you look at severity, so you're going to circle a number there. If you're working with different people, you may want to do this separately first, and then you might be circling different numbers. Then you can ask, hey, why did you circle that number? Why did you circle that one? Which helps you to get different opinions and perspectives. Same thing with if you look over to now severity in the next column. So how severe is this a problem when it does happen? 1, not really that bad. It doesn't really affect things too negatively. all the way to 5, which means it's really just causes failure. It's a disaster. It's a catastrophe when it happens, right? So high severity. So circle which number for frequency and severity that you think. Again, don't overthink it. This is sort of guidance for a conversation. And then you're going to multiply the frequency number by the severity number to get an overall number. So if I had, for example, 2 for frequency and I had 4 for severity, I do 2 times 4, and that equals 8. Right. So I'm doing that for all of my problems. And then I'm going to start with my highest prioritization number and start to note down, have conversations about ideas for solutions. So how might we solve this problem? So it helps me prioritize, start with the highest frequency and severity problems that I should be addressing first. Again, this is simply guidance. This just helps you think about and how to prioritize problem. It's not a hard and fast rule, but it helps you sort of get away from being stuck, being paralyzed, or picking the wrong things to focus your energy on. In terms of engagement role guidance, if you're hands-on, so you use this as a guide for conversations with the organization, community you're working with, to better understand the prioritization of problems that they're working on. You can also use this to analyze problems in your own community and/or a community you hope to support. Consulting uses to help the organization team and our project team that you're consulting for prioritize problems and ideate solutions. This can help them decide where to focus efforts with specificity. As with all these tools, this can be one of your final deliverables. And then we have innovating. You can use this conversation tool to help you prioritize problems and decide which ones your innovation should solve for, right? So we're innovating to help solve a problem. Which ones specifically are we trying to solve for, and making sure that we're focused on the priority ones. So that is our problem prioritization analysis. Hope you find this helpful. I certainly do. Use this all the time. And as always, if you have any questions or concerns or would like a little bit of support or collaboration, please don't hesitate to reach out. Apart from that, hope you found this helpful and have a wonderful day. All the best.